Welcome to the Unreliable Narrator, a pop culture podcast with me, Shabir,
and me, Krish.
So, Krish, today we've got our special two-parter Christmas countdown.
That's right.
We have a special guest with us today.
We do.
I say special. Rishi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rishi, so I'm a law student.
So yeah, our Christmas countdown. I've got a question for you guys.
What's that, Shub?
So I told you guys to pick a lot of Christmas movies for our discussion. You know, pick 10, pick 20, whatever.
Yep.
Did any of you guys pick Die Hard?
I did.
No.
You did?
I did.
Would you count it as a Christmas movie?
No.
No.
You wouldn't?
No, do you know what? That sounds weird because it's Christmas list, but I picked
No, I
it
get you.
because the episode's called Is Die Hard a Christmas Film?
Because that's what I posed as a question to you guys.
Yeah.
But I actually genuinely love the film. It's such a good film.
Yeah.
I just think it could have
Can
happened.
I please finish? Any chance?
Too many vocal
I
opinions.
literally said, I think he starts butting in. Sorry, I'll let you off because you're a guest, but...
Go, Rich, what were you
What
saying?
were you saying?
I just think that like it could have happened at any other time of the year. Like it doesn't need to.
And
be
that's where you are wrong. I want to use this episode as my defense piece for Die Hard. Now, here's why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie because it can't take place at any other time of the year. Why is that? Hans Gruber, the terrorist, who's brought his mates along to hijack Nakatomi Tower
Yeah.
and steal some bonds, I think 600 million, right? Now, Richie, what's funny about that? Was it Nakatomi?
Who?
Everybody knows you're racist now. That's fine. So, let me explain. He needs the building to be empty. So he can't hijack the building at any other point in the year. It'll be full of people, right?
Yeah, right.
But you can't do it after Christmas, before the whole, New Year's rush again, because there'll be nobody in the building. There'll be nobody at that point,
Oh, okay.
except for a loose skeleton crew of security.
Yeah.
He needs there to be a very small security team, firstly. It's crucial to his plan. He also needs a gathering of people because there's a hostage situation that he needs to, create in order for his plan to work, right? Because if he can't have any hostages, he can't execute the second part of his plan, which is to get the building shut down, right? So he's got all these hostages, and because he's got the hostages, the FBI shut down the electric in the building.
Yeah.
When the electric turns off, the vault opens, he grabs the bonds. He's planned that in advance.
Yeah.
Now, if you tell me this movie can take place at any other point in the year, at what other point do you have a small gathering of people, enough for a hostage situation, not too much, not too little, and also a smaller security crew? Tell me. It's not possible, is it? Therefore, it had to be,
I don't know.
this has to be during the Christmas party that was happening.
It's not, yes, I suppose I'm like... Yeah, I think you're right,
Therefore,
That's fair.
Therefore, Die Hard
Is that your only criteria?
is
for
a Christmas
film?
movie. What, terrorist hijacking? Not really, but it takes place on Christmas Eve because John McClane
So I
lands
got
in
you.
LA to meet his estranged wife, and he's got a teddy bear for his kid. So it is a Christmassy thing. It's a tale of family and reuniting and
Yeah.
killing terrorists,
Yeah, that's fair.
played by
Okay.
the
You've
legendary
convinced me.
Alan Rickman.
It's just a different type of Christmas movie, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it's not.
Well,
the
yeah, it's not
traditional,
about Santa Claus and
lights
Rudolph.
There's no
hearted-
snow. There's no like Santa. There's no
I'm sure there is
cozy
snow.
vibes.
There's no snow.
No, bro, it's LA.
And it takes
I don't
place
think LA ever
primarily in a building. I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit shady on that. But it is Christmas. It is Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you know what? Right, okay, you made a valid point. I'm not gonna fully give it you, but I'll partially give it you. Okay, but
Enough to say Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
so yeah, as I was saying, no, do you know what? Yeah, I'll give it you. You persuaded me there because
Yeah,
like
you've also said
I'm trying to think.
persuaded me.
Whilst you were talking, I'm trying to think like what other time of year could that take place?
There's no other time where you can have a small gathering of
Yeah.
people because it's a big tower. It'll be full of people.
See,
all
I was
around.
thinking more like any other time where he would go and meet his wife, but even then, because she's
it's
estranged.
not about that. It's about the
Yeah.
plot taking place in the building.
Exactly,
The whole plot is sort of initiated.
The building's central to the
building
film, yeah.
itself, because of the location of the bonds.
Yeah.
The number of people he needs to create a hostage situation to make sure the FBI turns off the electric, the power supply, and also a skeleton crew of security. Because if there's too many security guards,
Yeah.
it's also
that's
creating
a
a
good
bit of an
point.
issue.
Yeah.
Therefore, it had to be a Christmas party. Like Hans Gruber thought of it. Very smart guy.
Very fun.
And that is my argument for why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Thank you for tuning in to
tune back in next
episode
week,
1 of our Christmas countdown.
No, I have a current question though.
Go on.
And it is so. What are the other features of a film that make it a Christmas movie?
I think obviously there's the lightheartedness of like maybe Santa Claus, snow, and stuff like that. But there's also that sort of the deeper themes of like being reunited with your family and spending time with each other, gift giving, stuff like that.
Or maybe, maybe some of the films on my list do fall into that category.
Yeah.
I've got Batman Returns on my list as well. I'm not sure that has any sort of, maybe some watered down
that again
themes.
is like one of the
Family
films that like just takes place on Christmas, isn't it?
It takes place on Christmas. There's a lot of snow, as you guys mentioned, and the penguins in it. There's no relevance to Christmas, but
Okay.
Danny DeVito was always a win.
I'm not sure, For me, like, I feel like in recent years, probably in the last few years, I haven't made as much of an effort to like watch Christmas movies.
Yeah.
For me, Christmas movies I've always associated as like more of a child thing with family.
Yeah, like it's kind of nostalgic. So
Yeah, it's a nostalgic thing.
Yes.
So for me, like when I think of a Christmas movie, like it's how it made me feel rather than what are the key features.
Yeah,
and,
that's
Rather
true,
than a
actually.
story directly related to
exactly.
Santa or the
Because
birth of
last
Jesus.
Christmas, I watched Finding Nemo 2, Finding Dory. There we go. That's what I watched on Christmas Day.
Anyways, as we were saying,
So for me, personally, I love Die Hard as a film. Although I've not seen how many Die Hard There's like 4, isn't there?
there's about 5.
Five,
right
okay.
now. There's a 6th in the making.
Are all of them like with Bruce
Yeah.
Willis?
So that-
Bruce Willis is in all of them, yeah.
Right, okay, fair enough. But I've seen one. I think I've seen 2, but I remember one. the
Another
most.
controversial opinion. The only ones worth watching are Die Hard 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, that's not too controversial.
You literally give 4 out of 5.
In hindsight, not too controversial.
Yeah.
No.
You can watch most of them. Skip the last one.
I probably won't.
It's
ever get
controversial in
around
the
to
sense that people actually dislike Die Hard 4.
Oh, really?
But I love Die Hard 4.
watching it. Yeah.
That's pretty much
But
it.
I love the film, but for me, it's an action movie. Like,
And you can watch it any time of the year. But I doubt you're going to watch The Santa Claus.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just make a
June.
point though? Do you know how I said it's an action movie? For me, Christmas films like can have action and do have action, but it's more light-hearted action.
Yeah.
These guys had machine guns. He's kicking fuck out of like different, like the bad guys.
Same in Batman Returns. It's just literally kicking fuck out of half the city.
Literally a good job.
And
but-
that's why it's Christmas. Another thing in Die Hard, there was a scene where he goes, ho 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 motherfucker or something.
I love. No, he goes yippee ki yay, motherfucker.
Well,
Oh no! When he kills the guy
there was
on
another
his,
scene where he goes,
on his
ho,
jumper,
ho.
he leaves. Yeah,
exactly. So, and he wears a Santa hat at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Therefore, I mean, I've already made the point, but just
he killed someone.
to reinforce the point I made earlier, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair- do you know what? I'll give it you.
I'm
I too.
glad because now we can move on from Die Hard and move on to some movies that people actually do want to maybe hear about. I don't know.
No, do you know what? I think that's an important one though.
That is an
because
important one.
It's literally being debated. Like I hear the debate all the time.
It's probably the most controversial Christmas debate.
Do you think honestly you've persuaded the
The masses.
1 or 2 listeners that?
Here's the thing.
got-
To those 2 listeners that are listening in,
By the way, can I just make a point? One of the listeners is guesting on. He's guest starring on
I'm
our
literally
podcast.
one of 2 listeners of this podcast.
and to the other listener, hi me. How's it going? How's life right now?
And if you're wondering whether I listen to the podcast, I don't.
I feel like I might have convinced him. If not, then you can message me on Twitter.
Yep.
I'll put the link in the description of this episode.
You had a poll as well, didn't you? What was your
You did,
response to that?
yeah.
I can't remember.
To-
whether Die Hard is Christmas movie, you put a poll up.
I did do that.
So what was the response?
The results when I first checked it? 4 votes for yes, it is a Christmas movie. 0 votes for no.
Wow.
I've not checked it since. My phone is not near me right now, so I can't really give you an update. But the general consensus is that
It is.
it is a Christmas movie.
That's fair enough. I actually asked around because, like, obviously I knew we were going to discuss it this podcast episode. So I wanted to ask, like, people like because it's like a late 80s film, isn't it? On
88, yeah.
88, yeah. So it's a late, but it's like I know people like my uncle and my dad maybe probably watch it in cinema.
Probably, yeah.
Around that Christmas time as well when it was out. So I asked
It
them.
actually came out in the middle of summer.
Never mind then.
First
But,
came out. But the thing is, I was going to say, if it's not convinced people, feel free to message me. And I'll try
I
and
just
supplement.
checked your poll.
Yeah.
And you've got 92% yes and 8% no.
So it's still like way
And how many
majority.
votes total though?
13 votes.
Well, that's surprising.
That's actually
Yeah.
I didn't know 13 people were
So wait,
engaging
what's
with my
what
tweet.
does that mean? Like how many people said no? Like
It's
one,
probably
or two?
12.
12
Said
people
yes.
said yes, and
Yes,
1 person
yeah,
said
yeah,
no.
yeah.
That's fine. I mean, that's surprising to me. Actually,
So the statistics don't lie. Numbers don't lie. It's a Christmas film.
I thought there'd be more who would say no, but that's fine. Again, if anybody disagrees, feel free to message, and I'll try and supplement the argument a little bit. But I guess we're done with Die Hard, which, by the
Case
way,
closed.
is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites. Any others that you've got on your list that you want to talk about? Any other controversial ones?
Ooh, not too
Batman
sure. Actually,
Returns is quite controversial. Is that on anybody's list?
it isn't on mine.
It's not on mine
And,
either.
and that's like
Have
another...
you guys seen it, by the way?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it.
I've watched.
Danny DeVito.
It's the Michael
is,
Keaton. Is it Michael Keaton as Batman?
Michael Keaton is Batman.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito is the Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman. And there's a lot of snow, and it takes place at Christmas, and it's beating up all these guys.
So is that just for anyone who doesn't know? Like, you're a huge Batman nerd. Or
I'm a
like
huge a fan of DC comics, but primarily Batman specifically. More so than anybody.
So you're gonna love the film, but like, yeah. What else did you like about the film?
Batman.
Batman in it.
Beats people up. It's Tim Burton, so the aesthetic of Tim Burton in the 90s, Tim Burton is there in its full sort of.
Have you got any other Tim Burton Christmas movies on the list?
I do actually, yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I did write down Edward Scissorhands, but then I took it off because I've seen it about 15 years ago and I couldn't remember the plot. But I know it's a Christmas movie because because how? I googled it. But I didn't want to talk about it if I didn't remember too much about the story.
I mentioned quite a childhood thing as well.
I've mentioned the majority of the films I've got. Like I watched Die Hard. It's quite fresh. It's quite recent in my mind.
Was it for Christmas you watched it?
I watched it. I can't remember why, but it's just like, I just watched it pretty recently. But
recently I've been going through and binge watching Christmas movies. I've not watched Die Hard yet, but
I've been writing essays, guys.
This is not that kind of battle. Nobody cares about your essays. They're here to hear about Christmas movies, not your essays. Why are you here? Have you not got a deadline to meet? Someone move the microphone away from his mouth. Those laughs are peaking.
I feel so sorry for Shub editing this one. He's gonna. You can tell already. He's gonna be sat at his laptop editing this with blood coming out of his ears. Podcast cancelled. Okay, so
Batman Returns is on my list as one of my all-time favorite movies in general, and also Christmas.
You said controversial films, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the only thing that might be controversial, you guys might not agree with me. I love computer animated Christmas films. I just love them.
Is that a niche where there's a lot of content to draw from?
Probably not, but there's just a few films
three films that came out in the last 70 years. No, I can't. There was quite a few iconic films.
I thought maybe just one would make it onto the list, and the rest would be like normal films. Let
me guess. It's Polar Express.
Obviously, Polar Express.
I mean, if I had to think of one animated,
that's like the best of the best.
Fun fact: never seen it before.
Fun fact: I don't like it.
Have you not?
You don't like it?
I've seen it, but I'm just not a big
I'm not
fan.
going to even plot dive, but
you don't need to go into the plot. So
But
what is it about Polar Express?
It's a cozy film, bro. It's just a classic Christmas film.
Yeah.
There's just this boy, and it's Christmas Eve, and he's like. He sees this train that's about to dock to the North Pole.
Okay.
And he gets offered to come onto the train, and he goes on like a journey
to the North Pole
to
meet Santa.
Yeah.
To see where
So what makes it a Christmas movie?
Here we go. So what makes it a Christmas film is that it takes place and there's machine guns and people.
There's a guy in a tank top, bold as shit, shooting up half the building.
No, for me, right, the biggest thing a Christmas movie has to do for me, and this is the reason why at first I was like, nope, Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. It has to make me feel like warm and cozy.
I feel that actually.
And although I love
I think
Die
that's
Hard,
more like my childhood perception of what a Christmas movie
I
is.
finished Die Hard and I was like, I want to kick the fuck out of someone. I want to beat someone up. But when I watched Polar Express or some of the other animated ones that I'll follow up with in a minute, I just felt like so cozy. I watched them as a kid. Every time they're on at Christmas time, I just love them. So, but when I say controversial, people might think like, kids watch that stuff. Like, why do you like computer animated stuff? But I love it. I'll tell you another one that I really enjoyed. It's a Christmas Carol. So the Charles Dickens adaptation,
the Jim Carrey one, animated one.
Yes, the 2009 animated one, and it's the
that
same
one. I did like. I did like that film.
The story, by the way, is just like one of the best Christmas stories ever.
Of course.
And it's the same director actually who directed Polar Express, so it's Robert Zemeckis.
Nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
And that guy's just
He's a standout director. He made Back to the Future, which is
there you go. So that tells you like the standard of the quality of the film. But so Christmas Carol. That's just I can't even remember when I heard
that story.
It's been
adapted so many times in so many sort of versions. The Muppets have done a version. There's also been a live action. There's been a live action version. Well, there's been multiple live action versions, and of course the
2009.
And of course, my favorite adaptation of that story is the Matthew McConaughey rom-com Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, in which he's visited by his ex-girlfriends from his past.
Is that on your list?
It's not on my list. It just happens to be an adaptation of the classic Charles Dickens.
Oh right, I actually didn't know. I've not seen it.
Yeah,
Love Matthew McConaughey,
he's
though.
like almost like a really grumpy, misogynistic. Matthew McConaughey. Yeah,
He plays Scrooge.
essentially the Scrooge character, and he finds redemption through the ghosts of his girlfriends who come back and chat to him about how much of an arsehole he's been.
Yeah,
pretty much. And in the end, he becomes a nice guy, and he finds the woman of his dreams. Oh, it's such a good movie, by the way. Can I just say?
Maybe I need to watch it.
It's a very crude, and it's a rom-com that's not that high caliber.
Yeah.
But it's something I've always enjoyed.
Do you know what it is as
watching.
well? Like when I was like prepping for this podcast, so I'm sat down thinking like what films would be on my top 10 list.
Yeah.
And when I thought like Christmas Carol has to be, I found myself like sat there like actually just deepening it for a sec, because I was like, what do I love? So obviously I love things like The Elf and the cozy films like that, which we'll talk about. But when I think of Christmas Carol, and like especially like as I'm getting older, I just feel like I'm like everyone maybe becomes like a bit more of a Scrooge when they become older.
Yeah.
Because they just let life get in the way. Like as a kid, like kids are just innocent. They look the hype and the excitement and joy around Christmas time is just so real. And I'm definitely not feeling that this year, like as festive.
I agree.
I'm 10 years older than you. I still feel festive. I'm not
10's being a bit generous. But are you feeling not feeling festive this year?
I mean, in general, I do. This year, I kind of do feel festive a little bit. I mean, it's not the same.
It's not the same. Not at all.
I know you love as well, but I just go to the Christmas markets.
Yeah, we didn't get to do
those elements that are missing do usually amplify the experience.
But there's a pandemic, so fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, usually what it is for me is the movies and TVs.
Right.
Oh, really?
TV, yeah, and because I'm a huge...
Like you
I don't
said
know if you knew this, Rishi.
Like even on the other podcast the other week, you mentioned like you'd be watching the Doctor Who Christmas special on the day, Christmas Day, and like so you accept,
So there are elements from my usual Christmas that I'm missing. The whole sort of extended family reunions and Christmas markets and traveling around the country. Actually, last year I went to multiple Christmas markets across the country.
Did you? Don't show off. Where'd you go?
Don't mean to brag, but and then this year obviously that kind of didn't happen. But I still had the movies, and for me, I think a big chunk of it is movies for me.
Yeah, and that's why we make this podcast.
The biggest chunk of it for me is like having the extended family around and everyone just kind
of
coming
100%
together.
Same issue.
Yeah,
I can understand why the festive sort of magic isn't there for you guys, I guess, this year.
No.
Yeah, let's uplift this a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say before I was saying I feel myself becoming a bit of a Scrooge. I was like, put a bit of a damper on the podcast now. But
so let's lift up again.
Yeah.
So hey, Christmas.
Let's talk about.
Yeah,
I know this has to be on your guys' list. Like, if it's not,
I just want to say before you carry on. Yeah, I've not seen Christmas Carol and I've not seen Polar Express.
But you know the story, right?
But I do, because I've seen Ghost of Girlfriends Past.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I might watch them this year because I'm going through a bit of a binge of Christmas movies. But yeah,
you should. I think you should. And it's just fantastic animations. But this, I know this is going to be on your guys' list.
Yeah,
Elf.
Oh, Elf is on.
That's a classic.
I actually have watched Elf again this year.
Did you?
I haven't yet.
I haven't.
There's a few Christmas. There's a handful that I have to watch every year.
Okay, what are those?
Elf. I don't know if I mentioned that already.
Is Home Alone
what do you call
on
me?
your list?
Home Alone 1 is on my list. Wait for it.
film.
But higher than that on my list is Home Alone 3. I'll get into that later. Oh, that's another controversial one I should have talked about before.
You should.
Home Alone 3 is on my list. The Santa Claus.
Oh, such a good film.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
And there's probably a few others that slipped. Oh, Love Actually is probably number 1 on my list.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah, of course.
No chance.
I didn't think that you're that type of guy.
There's a bit of an age gap between
Sugar
us.
is definitely that guy.
I feel like you guys being Gen Z. You can't maybe.
You always got to bring this into this. Anything that Sugar doesn't agree with, you guys are Gen Z.
I have to apply my superiority complex into it somehow.
What's the thing when you're older than a boomer?
Oh.
Yeah, so that's my handful of films. Love Actually, Elf, Home Alone 3, Home Alone 1, Jingle All the Way.
You missed out too.
Santa Claus. Rishi, I've not got photographic memory. I've mentioned it before. Just rewind. Rewind it. I said it already once. What's yours? Do you have any that you specifically watch?
I think
this is going to be one that I know probably isn't on your list, but this is like the OG for me. It's such a short, it's a little it's a short one. It's not like a full film.
Okay.
It's The Snowman.
I was going to say The Snowman.
Yeah, Snowman.
I was going to say The Snowman.
Is it on yours?
On my list,
Bro, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love it, and the song is ingrained in my head because...
Sing it then.
That'll be next time. That's what other podcast. So
that's OnlyFans.
When we were in primary school, we had to sing that song, Walking in the Air.
Yeah. Flying through
For
the
some
air.
reason, that and 10,000 songs about Jesus. I had to come home and pray to God, like, please forgive me. Please forgive me.
The most confused child. So as I was saying, the snowman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
I think you have to watch that every
The Snowman is a classic. I mean, it has to be on anybody's list.
Man.
year. Yeah.
If not, then...
Do you know when I say like the cozy feeling? That film is that feeling.
Yeah, it
Oh,
encapsulates
the Snowman
it.
encapsulates that perfectly.
Exactly that
100%.
feeling.
Yeah, exactly. That feeling. Yeah. You're so right.
I feel like every episode in this, like, maybe it's just what film and TV does so well, but the feeling of nostalgia, and it's kind of making me sad, you know, because
I keep saying this, but nostalgia is a key theme throughout my life in general.
yeah,
The video games I play, if I do play 'em now, are the ones that I used to play back in my childhood.
what's your top 10 Christmas video games?
That is next week's episode. But then the movies that I watch, when I'm in the mood to be in my comfort zone, I usually from my childhood TV show episodes like Friends, like we spoke about last time.
Yeah.
Simpsons episode 1. It's like that. So it's not a surprise that these episodes seem to always head in the nostalgic sort of direction.
This is a bit of a little bit off topic, but like you're saying to get you back into that nostalgic mood vibe, whatever. What is it? Just me, right? But when I come to like watch something, or I'll tell myself like I'm actually excited to watch this movie, TV show, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have to be like in a certain mood or mind frame to watch something, or can you just watch anything whenever?
No, I mean,
I think I do have to be in a certain
yeah,
mind.
for pretty much anything I watch.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I watched Tenet, and I feel like that takes a certain. I know it's completely off topic, but I just wanted to mention.
Well, that's one of my top 10 Christmas movies. Is it? No, yes, certain movies do.
They just take.
Need a certain
Like some
mind
sort of,
frame.
mental preparation. Just
Especially Nolan films. Which,
oh my god.
in the new year, we'll
need to-
talk in depth
we'll
about some Nolan
definitely
films,
do.
Yeah.
I think. But,
Into the Nolan verse. Hey,
yeah, we'll do that. But for now,
let's stick to Chris. But yeah, like that's the point I was making. It's just like those Christmas films and songs and stuff and adverts. It's just like a trigger in your head that like
It would be so cool.
But the
if,
point
like,
I'm trying to make is like I definitely get into that mood and stuff, right? But this year, the films and stuff haven't.
they've not worked.
It's not worked.
No.
How many have you watched so far, Christmas movie-wise? Other than Die Hard, which you watched earlier.
Home Alone,
You've watched Home Alone.
The Snowman, Polar Express.
And you're still not in a Christmas mood?
Nope.
Oh,
Wow.
This is...
Someone help me, please.
I don't know what to say.
Because I've not watched all of those, and I feel like I'm in more of a Christmas mood than you.
Is that why you've got a tinsel on you?
Oh yeah, so I've broken my leg.
Is that why you're wearing a Santa Claus outfit?
So I've broken my leg, and on my
gained
cast,
There's no need for that. No need.
and on my cast, my friend painted Christmas baubles.
On your cast. No one knows the backstory of why you're wearing
People
a
are gonna
cast
think you're
and,
just
and the fact that you're
disabled,
wearing a cast. You can't slip in your cast
I've said multiple times I've broken my leg.
in this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not listening to you clearly because I didn't hear that.
I'm only talking to Shiv right now.
I'm literally not even looking at you. But,
So Rishi's in the Christmas. Just for anyone who wants to catch up, Rishi's in the Christmas mood because he's got Christmas baubles on his leg.
on his cast because he broke his leg.
He broke his
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah. I mean,
Actually, what happened? Tell everyone.
I mean, nothing further to add with that. Back to Christmas.
That's Christmas. Okay. Anyone got any else, Rishi? or
I've
Shub?
got
any
one
other films?
that isn't. I feel it might
what?
be as controversial as Die Hard, but
Yeah.
people just don't think about this a lot. Mine's like Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Now, Iron Man 3 was released in May, but it was set Christmas time, and like you can hear that there's a couple of Christmas songs in the background, and Tony gives Pepper this massive giant bunny as her Christmas present, stuff like that, and that's not my only criteria for a Christmas movie, but I also think it brings in a lot of like the regrowth and stuff like that, the growth for getting ready for the new year and stuff, because he's obviously going through his own like what?
I'm trying to take him seriously, man.
What did you say? What did you say?
He goes, this snow. Talking about growth. I can't do this anymore, Shub.
And that ends episode 1. No, I was going to say, it's not a surprise. The director of Iron Man 3, Shane Black, does tend to set a lot of his movies at Christmas.
Really? Like
Kiss
what?
Kiss Bang Bang takes place at Christmas.
No thanks.
Takes place at Christmas, which, by the way, I've wrote on my list as well.
Well, I've actually I've not even seen that.
It's an amazing film. It's about two detectives who witness a murder and they're catapulted into this weird sort of story.
You have like quite a common theme with your Christmas movies.
Yeah, just a crime,
like detectives and
violence.
crime and
Yeah,
violence.
no.
Just set at Christmas
So
time.
sorry, as you were saying.
Yeah, but that's what it is, and it takes place at Christmas. Is the only sort of common thread. With
Yeah.
So do you
a
know
lot of shame black
how you
films.
made the argument for Die Hard?
Yeah.
I can't recall Iron Man 3 perfectly, but can you? And you probably can. Does Iron Man 3 like meet the full criteria for a Christmas film?
I
or can it
guess.
take
I
place
guess
another time.
it does. If Die Hard counts, which it does, as you
Yeah, but
guys.
you made a really compelling
I made a
argument for
very
that.
good argument.
Yeah, I don't really.
Like you said, like it literally can't take
Iron Man
place.
3 takes place at Christmas. A lot of it's Christmas themed in the background, aesthetically, musically. But the thing
Yeah.
is, the story could take place anywhere.
It could.
Yeah.
But
It
it
could.
doesn't matter. It's still. It,
But an
it
interesting
could, but
thing-
it didn't. It did take place at Christmas.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's a Christmas movie. Same with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang because that story could, if I remember correctly, happen at any point in the year. It just happened to take place at Christmas.
But another thing about Iron Man 3 is that Killian, the guy who made the Extremist virus, he's sort of like the ghost of Christmas past for Tony because in New Year's Eve of 1999, he approaches Tony and Tony just kind of like leaves him.
In New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but
Carry on.
I don't know. I include New Year's up to New Year's in the Christmas period.
Do you, Shub?
No.
But you
Once
do,
it hits midnight on Christmas Day, that's it.
it's my birthday.
Really?
Hey.
Okay, don't show off.
Anyone can send me
no.
fan mail off.
No, I include anything up to New Year's Day as the Christmas
To be
period.
fair, I'm still in that sort of.
Yeah, you still not like
Only because we're not really at work. Well,
Yeah.
I am this year, but in general, I mean.
Yeah, but literally,
don't get
like,
depressing.
this Killian guy, he comes to haunt him and he's from his past and it's Christmas time.
It's like a Scrooge thing.
Yeah, it is kind of Scrooge thing
don't-
because he's also
There's a
going...
bit of a stretch. Who are the other two?
This is like
ghosts?
Richard doing English literature. Like
I think you're reading too much into it.
Oh my god! Yeah, but no, but he's like also kind of Scrooge because he needs the help of other people to like get him to be a better person. Like Pepper.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, Pepper,
Shub,
like,
you need to
Nick-
open your mind a bit more. I kind of
I'm
agree with
sure
Rishi here.
there's a very thin argument to be made.
No,
maybe.
like Pepper like nearly
Still
leaves
need
him, and
that
that
help,
convinces him to step up his game as like a partner. The kid, what's he called? Like Harley or something.
The benefit of having one film on your list is you're really well researched. Not one film.
Well, I was given half an hour notice.
You've gone and read every theory there is, every
How many YouTube videos?
string that connects it to
I was
Christmas.
literally given half an hour notice.
Oh my god! I can
Don't-
see
don't
Rishi's
complain.
notes.
You're here now.
Shub, I can see Rishi's notes.
Yeah.
He's wrote a dissertation on why Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie.
In half an hour.
In
I
half
mean,
an hour.
I count it as a Christmas film.
Yeah,
don't
so do
think-
I.
and I don't think it's,
love Marvel Cinematic
don't-
Universe as a whole.
I don't think it's controversial to say Iron Man 3 is a Christmas film. We're going to allow it. Krish, take it away. What's next? Let's talk.
Don't put too much pressure on me, but yeah. Do you know what you mentioned before? Just such a good film. Santa Claus. The Santa Claus.
The
The
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. I just that's another one. Okay, I haven't watched it recently, but
Neither
I
have
have. I've actually watched it recently. Guess what I did? I watched all three recently.
Oh my!
Yeah. But before we...
Do you do your job?
I didn't. There are other hours in the day.
see how he's stuttering.
Sweating right. Is it hot in here? No, so basically, I was going to say before we talk about Santa Claus, I wanted to talk about Elf because we mentioned it before. We didn't really
of
go
course.
into it. Elf is one film I watch every year. I love that film.
Love it, man. It's so
I
good.
love Will Ferrell,
So funny.
and that definitely counts as a Christmas film.
Yeah,
It's not too controversial.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's a really good film overall. I mean, Christmas
funny
stuff
film.
It's a really funny film.
I love I love funny Christmas films.
I agree. They're my top tier of Christmas films. The funny ones.
Fair.
I was going to say something so profound.
Also, I don't know why I brought up Elf again. I had nothing further to say.
You said except
I like
it was quite a good. No, genuinely, I love Elf, and that's actually one that
I
probably
rewatched
watch
it
every
again
year.
recently. It was
Did you?
amazing. Yeah.
What so like just re-jog my memory fully, but it's like Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell,
he's like an orphan in it, so
he was an orphan. He gets accidentally taken to the North Pole in Santa's bag.
he's an elf in it, obviously.
And he gets raised as an elf. He then finds out he's a human. He overhears someone. And then he goes into the city, into the real world.
To find
New
his
York,
dad,
I think,
innit?
actually.
Yeah, New York
To
City, yeah.
find, which is another thing. New York is very Christmassy for me.
It is. Yeah.
Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Gotta mention that.
To find his dad in New York. And that's the whole story pretty much, is him sort of trying to reconnect with his dad and his new step family of sorts. It's a nice story about family and acceptance and
Love that, yeah.
being yourself. And he finds a romantic interest as well. So
Yeah.
if you think romance is a part of Christmas,
Do you think it is?
I don't know, but I know
I
that
don't
Love
include
Actually
it.
is on my list. So
You said top.
It's probably number one.
Yeah.
And that's why it's...
Is it because of the romance?
I don't think so. It's mainly because it's a very enjoyable, heartwarming film that takes place at Christmas.
Fair.
There's a lot of good actors in there. But yeah, that's the story of Elf, pretty much.
Actually, can you do me a favour and rejog the Santa Claus, because that is like a childhood favourite of mine.
Back to the Santa Claus. Now, recently I've watched all three again.
Really?
And
Too much
if I had to
bedtime,
rank it, I'd say 1, 2, and 3. Controversial there.
Really?
I nearly put number 2 first. That's why I had to think about it a little bit. I nearly went 2, 1, 3. But in hindsight, it probably is number 1. The story is Tim Allen's character, Scott Calvin.
Yeah. That's the one.
SC, Santa Claus, Scott Calvin, Tim Allen. Yeah. So he jumps out one day. He's a really career-oriented guy. Focuses on work too much. Doesn't give enough attention to his kid and his family. It's a classic.
Scrooge.
In the 90s, all the dads were losers pretty much. You think? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a recurring
cool,
theme.
man.
No, they all seem to be really into their jobs and don't give any attention to the family.
Traditional roles, like...
Look at John McClane as well. Another classic.
Yeah,
and
like-
Tim Allen, and also anything that Bill Murray played in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, true.
Jim Carrey in Liar Liar was a rubbish dad as well. It literally is a recurring theme.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Tim Allen's rubbish dad. He jumps out one day because he hears noise on the roof. He goes, "Hey," and then Santa Claus hears him, falls down, dies.
Oh my.
And the rule is, you put on this suit, you become Santa Claus. So he puts a suit on. He's reluctant to become Santa Claus, obviously, but he embraces it eventually. The elves are pretty funny and cool.
Yeah.
His son obviously loves it. Why wouldn't you?
And he goes to like deliver all the gifts and stuff.
And he essentially delivers. Yeah, he becomes Santa Claus. And it's called the Santa Claus with an E at the end. Clause as in a legal clause.
Yeah.
You see that? And the Santa Claus is that anybody who wears the suit becomes
He's
Santa.
Santa, right? That's clever.
That is the
clever.
Santa Claus. Yeah, I really enjoyed that film. Really funny.
Actually, you know that point there? That's so interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh, did you
I
know
didn't
that?
pick up on that.
Oh, well, if you watched it again now, you would have, because
100%.
that's literally the primary story. It's just something as a kid you wouldn't realise.
Really. Yeah.
Maybe.
You just think that people made a typo.
This year, for the first time, I watched number 3 for the first time. It was okay. I could have been okay not watching it ever, but it was one of those for the sake of completion.
Yeah, I mean, when films kind of go like over 3, which we'll discuss in this Christmas list, they do flop.
Not always. The Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3,
I agree.
very consistently high caliber. John Wick 1, 2, and 3,
Okay, that's another exception.
consistently high
Fantastic.
caliber. The Dark
Interesting that you
Knight
mentioned
trilogy.
Actually, fair enough.
Lord of the Rings. I always end up watching those around the Christmas time as well. I don't know why.
Actually, yeah, me too.
I associate those with just Christmas, really.
Really?
Not because they're Christmas
Really?
themed in the slightest, but it's just because.
Just because of the time of year you watch them.
Yeah. Like,
Fair. If people watch a certain film at Christmas,
agree.
that could be their Christmas movie. It doesn't have to be
it's every year that my family and I, we all watch Lord of the Rings together.
extended edition.
Yeah.
Has to be done.
Cute.
So yeah, Santa Claus 2 is a continuation of the story. The second clause is that Santa Claus must marry. He must find someone to marry. Otherwise, he stops being Santa. That's the second clause. The third clause is that if Santa holds a snowball and says, "I don't want to be Santa anymore," he stops being Santa. Jack Frost hears about that and uses that to steal the mantle because he's not getting enough attention.
Yeah.
That's story number 3. It's not horrible, but I'll probably not ever watch it again. I'll be honest with you. I probably will watch number 2 again because I really enjoyed big chunks of number 2.
Okay. Is that how it almost made it to the number 1?
Yeah,
list?
because some parts were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nothing further to say. I love Santa Claus. You guys love Santa Claus.
Yeah.
With an E. The final one on my list is Jingle All the Way.
Nice. I've never
guys-
seen that.
I've never seen that one.
You guys never seen?
Maybe
That's the age gap coming into play.
I'm
Here.
always bringing that into play. But
always.
is that an older film? Yeah.
96, 94,
Oh, fair
mid-90s.
Yeah.
Arnie is
is it an Arnold?
his prime. The story's about him trying to secure this toy for Christmas because his son wants it. He forgot to buy it in advance. He's now going there to buy it pretty much the day before Christmas or something, and it's out of stock, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a Turbo Man. And it's just the shenanigans he gets up to while, parading across town, across the city, different shops. It's such a sick film. I love Jingle All the Way.
I think I've seen it, by the way.
You must have seen
Because,
it. I mean,
my uncle, he is like the biggest Arnold fan.
Yeah. That
I
is
think
true.
I've definitely watched it with
you
him.
must have done,
Yeah.
That probably is top 5 for me.
Is it?
Yeah. We'll talk about our top 5
Yeah.
in episode 2
Let's do it.
of the Christmas Countdown. I mean, episode 1 was primarily about controversies,
Yeah.
but I think it was a good
I
way
think
to
we've got
start.
those out in...
Just want to say thank you to my viewers all two of you. One of them here recording with me now.
Appreciate that. It was good, actually good fun.
That was a great
enjoyed it.
conversation. But
The
yeah,
more the merrier.
stay tuned for episode
Laugh.
2, where we'll count down to our, I guess, top 5, top 3, top 1 Christmas movies of all time. Thank you for listening to
Goodbye.
this one.
See you next time.